Hello everyone and welcome back to Scandinavian Design 101. I'm Sanna.
I'm Andreas and we are two Swedes and we love design.
We do, and today we're gonna let you know about the underrated but amazing Scottish architect, designer and painter Charles Rennie Mackintosh.
Yeah.
Rennie. I truly love his designs and interiors, and I think his style is very fascinating. It's kind of romantic and modern at the same time. Amazing, according to me.
Yeah, it is.
He designed all kinds of things. He is, for example, the father of this popular font. The spooky looking and, for instance, used by TV series American Horror Story.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
He was born already in 1868, so somewhat earlier than many other designers we talk about on this channel. Nevertheless, he was one of the first pioneers of modern architecture and design, caught in the difficult time between the Victorian era and the modern age. Much of his work was done in close collaboration with his wife, Margaret Macdonald. Mackintosh have said that Margaret has genius, I have only talent. And he have said to her that in all my architectural efforts, you have been half, if not 3/4 of them. Sounds like she was a huge part of his projects. So remember that while listening to the rest of the video, because we will not mention her every time, but she was probably a part of it.
Yeah, probably. And according to Mackintosh, architecture was the supreme discipline since it brings all arts together. And this was the key for the couple. Their projects focused on the whole, the total design, not the individual parts. And they incorporated architecture, furniture, graphic design, textiles and painting, and most often inspired by nature. The goal was to connect individuals with his work, both functionally and spiritually. And he achieved this by the use of symbolism and the balancing of the opposites. For example, modern and traditional and light and dark. Very holistic and humanistic.
Yeah.
He was able to combine strong and elegant lines, natural elements with modernist function, and it was a kind of organic modernism actually, way before organic modernism was a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Despite this idea of total design, he is mostly remembered for his around 400 furniture designs, which we will focus on today.
Yeah, of course. But let's start with a little background. Apparently, Mackintosh was a weak boy growing up, and he had something back then called clubfoot, so he had a limp. The family doctor told his parents that the boy should be encouraged to take plenty of exercise in the open air and to have long holidays whenever possible.
Nice,
Isn't that
nice?
So, during his childhood, the family traveled a lot around the country, and meanwhile, Mackintosh sketched what he saw, buildings, flora and fauna, and this resulted in a deep appreciation of the cultural heritage of the country and a sense of patriotism which stayed with him for the rest of his life. The city of Glasgow was at the turn of the century a thriving city, both economically and industrially, because of its shipbuilding industry and coal and mineral mines. Actually, back then it was the 6th largest city in Europe. Ooh. And now it's down to like the 65th place or something. The non-taxation of company profits and low-income tax resulted in people willing to spend a lot of money on art, architecture, and other artistic decorations.
When it came to furniture design, a strong visual impact was important for Mackintosh. He achieved this by drawing inspiration from many sources and combining them to form a symbolic and individual style. He was independent from any contemporary stylistic movement, but he was one of the primary influences of the Art Nouveau style. Mackintosh furniture looks skeletal compared to the overstuffed furniture of the Victorian era. And let's take a look at some of his best works. Let's start strong with his most famous piece of design, the high-backed chair for the Argyle Street Tea Rooms, made already in 1897. The oval headrest was carved with the silhouette of a bird with spread wings. The tall back provided a sense of privacy for the sitter and also divided the room like a room divider.
Yeah, super smart.
The high back would later become a hallmark for his designs. The back legs and backrest changes shape. From being a square at the bottom, it becomes round at the top, and that's super cool.
Yeah, it is.
And later, a version with a crescent-shaped cutout in the headrest was made for competition. The furniture weren't designed for industrial mass production. They were handcrafted and produced in small batches.
Yeah. And now let's have a look at this fantastic painted oak cabinet with colored glass designed by Mackintosh in 1902 for a drawing room in 14 Kingsborough Gardens. On the doors, that look silver-colored, are two figures in Arabian cloaks and turbans holding lanterns.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Also in 1902, he did an interior called Rose Boudoir for the International Exhibition of Modern Decorative Arts in Turin.
I think so, yeah.
Where is Turin?
Turin,
Italy,
yeah.
Yes it is. This room was feminine with colors like pink, silver and white. And the chair designed for this project is really beautiful. It's a wide chair with this high back that he's famous for, with stenciled decoration in the backrest.
Yeah, they are
super
lovely.
Pretty. As well, in 1902, he started one of his most famous projects, Hill House, finished in 1903, commissioned by the wealthy publisher Walter Blackie. It's the only one of his total designs that remains intact today, and it seems to be open for visitors as well. We should go.
Yeah.
Every item of furniture, textile, and decorative feature was custom made by Mackintosh and his wife. The whole house has a very clean and uncluttered look, truly modern and a new idea at the time. Some rooms are very bright with light colors. Apparently it was very hard for the family servants to keep it clean. Other rooms are very dark to create the contrast. The fireplace, which is spectacular, has ornamental elements including ironwork, mosaic, and glass. He made the iconic chair named Hill House-ish, named.
Yeah.
It's what it's called.
Yeah.
Made from black solid wood, it has a super high back with a linear and square shape. Cassina took this chair into production in 1973, and it can still be yours today for around $2,600.
Yeah.
Reasonable. The cost of Hill House was just over £9,500, around $880,000 in today's money.
Yeah, that's quite a lot of money.
That is a lot.
Yeah. The next project, the Willow Tea Rooms, he worked on between 1903 and 4, and also in 1917 when he did an extension. Again, a total design from furniture, light fittings, carpets and wall decorations, and even details such as cutlery and staff uniforms. And this is actually much like Arne Jacobsen and SAS Royal Hotel, for example.
Was he inspired by
I think
Mackintosh?
so, yes. It's with this idea of the total design. And
But I guess it's for your ego as well.
Yeah, you want
I've
to do
everything.
I want to control all small parts of this
like
product.
That.
Yeah. The interior consisted of a ladies' tea room at the front of the ground floor, with a lunch room in the back. A vaulted room on the first floor was transformed into the Grand Salon de Luxe, and the other rooms upstairs were the men's billiard and smoking rooms.
Didn't the lady get to smoke?
No, they didn't. They were not allowed to smoke the cigars there. No. For this project, he designed the curved lattice back chair And a silver high-back chair with pink squares on the headrest. Also lovely pieces. The chairs functioned as dividers of space and also to create a sense of privacy. You want to be like private when you sit there and drink your tea. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
So you can gossip.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking about. You sit there and gossip about the people in the village. Yeah. And the project was praised for having such innovative interiors. The Salon Deluxe was restored in 1980 and reopened again in 2018 after even more renovations. And it still today functions as originally intended.
Yeah, super nice.
And then the address 6 Florentine Terrace in Glasgow was the couple's home between 1906 and 1914. Basically, it was a traditional Victorian property, but they made substantial alterations to the rooms by removing walls and adding fireplaces, bookcases and furnishings. They even added windows to get more natural light.
Was that a thing back then?
No, because now at the time, the typical home was otherwise quite dark.
Yeah, they're super modern.
Super
actually,
modern, yeah, absolutely. And different rooms had a very different vibe to create contrast, as always.
Yeah.
After the couple's death, the house was to be demolished, but before that, all furnishings that could be salvaged was removed and put into storage, luckily. And even fireplaces, joinery, windows and the staircase balustrade was saved. And in 1981, a reconstruction of some parts of the house was finished as a part of the Hunterian Art Gallery, and it's still open to the public and is located only about 100 meters from the original site. Yeah.
Super nice.
We must visit that too, of course.
Yeah. Do a Glasgow trip only for Mackintosh.
Yes.
He lived most of his life in Glasgow, but his reputation spread beyond his native city, and he was known for being the father of the Glasgow style. He inspired modernists across Europe, especially in Germany and Austria. At home in Scotland, his work was met with indifference, and his career wasn't going so great most of the time. Few private clients wanted his total design discipline. It's kind of expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And it's said that he was an unreliable drunk with an uncompromising nature. I don't even really know, but that could be part of the decline as well.
Yeah.
In an attempt to resurrect his career, the couple moved to London, but the timing was unfortunate with the First World War just beginning. So there was some restrictions.
Yeah.
After some years, they moved to the south of France, where the cost of living was much cheaper, because they had no money. There he spent the end of his life painting. Sadly, both him and Margaret got sick and needed to return to London for treatment. And Mackintosh had gotten cancer in his tongue.
Ooh.
But hadn't enough funds to get treatment at first. But he did manage to get radium therapy. Sadly, it didn't cure him, and he died in 1928, only 60 years old.
Oh.
He was kind of a wasted talent. Some believe that had he moved abroad earlier, he could have received the recognition he desired and been so much more successful. But who knows?
Who knows? But he is really worth remembering.
He is.
Yeah. And Margaret.
Don't forget.
No. And this was all we had to say about Mackintosh.
Yes, it was.
Hope you found it interesting and inspiring.
Really.
And if you did, you should check out our previous videos. We have a lot of videos there.
Not about Mackintosh, but
no.
other fabulous things.
We have.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.